Welcome to the Talkin VAWLS Network. My name is Boogie Bentley. Man, we're getting ready to roll into November. Tennessee sitting here at 6-2 on the season, 6 wins heading into November, and we still have a lot of things that we complain about, we gripe about, but this football team in year 3 under Josh Heupel is playing pretty good football, whether they lean on defense, whether they lean on their offense late in the game like they did against Kentucky. They are finding ways to win. That's what good football teams do. I think this season is going to be interesting to see how these last 4 games play out. Of course, you got Connecticut coming up on Saturday for homecoming. Then you go on the road to play Missouri, a pretty good Missouri football team. They're sitting at 7-1 on the season right now, 3-1 in the SEC. They throw the football for almost 300 yards per game. We'll start to get more into that matchup next week, but I think that's a big one. You're going on the road again. How does Tennessee handle that road atmosphere? But then also something about I want to talk about in this video, what does the officiating look like in that game against Missouri? But not to bury the lead. We'll get into that in just a second. But then you've got Georgia coming to town. You wrap things up against Vanderbilt. I think the floor right now for Tennessee is 8-4, but they're sitting pretty to go win 9 football games, and that's right where we thought this football team was going to be. But coming up on Saturday, they're playing Connecticut. Tennessee's going to honor Lady Vol women's basketball coach Pat Summitt on Saturday, and I know a lot of people, when they heard that, Josh Heupel said on the Heupel Show that they were going to be doing some changes to the uniforms, and you guys run straight to this. You guys go straight to Chad Fields. If you don't follow him on Twitter, he's worth a follow. He puts out some of these designs for different uniforms and customization type stuff. What do you think about these? Because I think it is polarizing. People either love these or they hate these, but the bottom line is that this isn't what Tennessee's getting. Tennessee's not going to get a full-blown Lady Vol look out there on Saturday. Again, going to be honoring Pat Summitt. Going to do this in November because it's Alzheimer's Disease Awareness Month, so that's why they are doing that on Saturday against Connecticut. And what better team? What better team to honor Pat Summitt than UConn? We'll be doing that at homecoming. But what you're going to be getting is like the sleeves, the gloves, the socks, that type of thing will be in the Lady Vol blue. So don't look for those uniforms just quite yet. But I mentioned something about that Missouri game. What does the officiating look like in that ball game? Because I think that's going to be a pretty tight game. I bet it is a 3-point game. Going to be a pick-em type of football game between Tennessee and Missouri. Does Missouri get the home cooking? And you can say, we can talk about SEC bias, Bama bias, home field advantage, all this type of stuff. What is it? I want to take a look at an article that's going to give you some numbers that will actually surprise you. Some of you have probably already seen it because a lot of you guys sent it to me, asked me to talk about it. So that's what we're going to do. But as always, do me a favor, smash the thumbs up just below the video. That is quick, free, and easy, and it helps this channel. I would greatly appreciate it. Also, if you're new to the Talkin VAWLS Network, welcome. We're not experts. We're not insiders. We're not media. We don't talk at you here. We talk with you. This is a community of Tennessee fans, for the fans, by the fans. If you like what we do, make sure you subscribe. Click that bell for notifications. You're not going to miss out when we go live or when we drop a video. I'll be live later tonight, Halloween night. We're going to get together, hang out. We're going to have a Halloween party right here on the Talkin VAWLS Network. We're going to play some NCAA football, but talk all things Tennessee football. Live at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Come hang out. But let's take a look at this article from A to Z Sports. A wild stat that proves officiating has been one-sided against Tennessee the last 2 weeks. Now, I know the comments that are going to come in, and I just laugh at them. They're comical. Keep the comments coming. That's what pays the bills, and I appreciate it. But the comments are going to be, oh, here we go again. Tennessee fans crying. They're crying about officiating. But you know what's so funny, particularly about that Alabama fan base? They roll in here, and they say that we're crying about officiating, and 99.999% of them brought up last year in Neyland Stadium, the number of penalties. And they, in making fun of us for crying about officiating, they cry about officiating. So it's comical. It's comical. This is written by Zach Reagan over at A to Z Sports. Shout out, Zach. Go follow Zach on Twitter. Zach's a great follow on Twitter. Love some of the stuff he puts out. Always taking shots, always taking jabs. Says here the Tennessee Vols had to fight through another tough night of bad officiating to get a win against Kentucky on the road. Tennessee was flagged 9 times for 70 yards worth of penalties. Kentucky, meanwhile, was just flagged 4 times for 21 yards, which was a remarkable turnaround for a program that entered the game as one of the most penalized teams in the nation. Funny, because we just saw that the week prior against Alabama. One of the most penalized teams in the country comes out of that game with 1 penalty, and it was not live action. And that's what's going to lead to the interesting stat coming up here in just a second. But it was not live action in that Alabama game. So 2 of the most penalized teams in the country roll in to play Tennessee. And again, they're the home team. Is it about home cooking? Because just last week when we were talking about Alabama, we mentioned Bama bias, and what that really is trying to protect your teams in the SEC. And again, Tinfoil hat conspiracy theories because we don't get any evidence. We don't get any information. In the SEC, there's no accountability. You make a horrible call, Josh Heupel reports it to the office. What happens with it? Absolutely nothing. No accountability. Put those officials in front of a microphone and let them get hammered with questions. Why didn't you call the headlock on Tyler Barron? Why'd you miss this face mask? Why'd you miss this blatant defensive passing interference? Everybody on the planet can see it. Hold these men accountable for what they're doing out there on this football field. These kids, these coaches, they work too hard to let a guy in a striped shirt determine the outcome of a football game. Roll on down here. It says a week ago against Bama, the Vols were flagged 8 times for 55 yards. Alabama flagged once for 5. And that was called late, which helped Alabama avoid a disastrous snap that could have easily resulted in a turnover. It says, here's the crazy part about the last 2 weeks. This is the interesting stat I wanted to talk about. How is this possible? The last 2 weeks combined, Alabama and Kentucky, not a single live ball penalty was called. How is that possible? You can't really ignore a false start. You can't really ignore jumping off sides. You can't really ignore some of these dead ball penalties. Dang, you can sure ignore holding. You can ignore pass interference. Oh, Boogie, there was no holding? Oh, really? Let's take a look at this play. Let's take a look at this one against Kentucky. Left side of the screen, Tyler Barron. That's not holding? Wait, let's take another look. That's not holding? That is not holding? You can tell me that right there is not holding. Says here the penalties that were called against Tennessee in their 33-27 win against the Wildcats were legitimate. It's not like there were phantom penalties that were called, but it's not like the officials conveniently missed any either. The officials seemed unwilling to call even obvious penalties against the Vols' opponents. Tennessee edge rusher Tyler Barron has been getting blatantly held by opponents the last 2 weeks, and not one time has the official decided that he should do his job and throw the flag. And again, let's take a look. Here's another one. Right here's another one. Tyler Barron against Alabama. This is on a touchdown pass. It didn't impact the outcome of the game. This is on a touchdown. Blatant headlock, bottom of the screen. Hooks him, headlock. You're not going to call that. That's not holding? You want to tell me that's not holding? Goes on, says it's hard enough to win in the SEC as it is, but when the officiating is tilted against you, it makes it nearly impossible. Fortunately for the Vols, they were able to dig deep and get the win against Kentucky despite another week of one-sided officiating. Now, and that's the whole thing, man. When you look at it, you're taking, again, 2 of the most penalized teams in the country, and they come out with as few penalties as they did. On the flip side of that, you're talking about a Tennessee football team that towards the top of the country in sacks per game. Now, conveniently, they can't get home, and everybody is saying, "What is it, man? Were they getting the ball out quick? Was their offensive line that good?" You guys saw what Josh Heupel did after the Alabama game when they asked him about penalties, and he just sat there quietly. This is after the Kentucky game. Same thing. Asked why his defensive line could not get home.
Devin, for the longest time, kind of protected in that pocket.
Okay, next question.
That's Josh Heupel on why his defensive line could not get home against Kentucky. Clearly, the man is frustrated, still going out there competing, still sitting at 6-2. Doesn't mean you can't complain about piss-poor officiating. It blows my mind. Goes on to say the worst part about all this is that there's zero transparency with the SEC. Fans won't get an explanation for the poor officiating. Instead, they'll have to wonder if there's some sort of conspiracy against the Vols. And you know what? Fans might as well lean into that as a point. If the SEC isn't going to be transparent with their terrible and obviously one-sided officials, then they deserve to be peppered with the complaints and accusations of cheating. They brought this on themselves. Again, who are they protecting? Are they protecting the home team? Because if they are, if that's the narrative you want to run with in the comment section, be right here. Be right back here on the Talkin VAWLS Network after the Georgia game. Let's see if Tennessee gets the home cooking against Georgia. Let's see if the officials can impact the game like they did the Alabama game. Let's see if they can do that for Tennessee against Georgia, because I don't quite think we're going to get that home cooking against the Georgia Bulldogs. And again, Tennessee had many opportunities to win that game against Alabama, but the officiating also controlled the tone, the momentum of that football game. It is what it is. I want to hear from you guys. Jump into the comments. Let me know your thoughts. As always, smash the thumbs up on the way out the door. Go check out the merch. Get the official Talkin Vols merch at bonfire.com/store/Talkin Vols. Also, shout out to the members of the channel. If you've got a power T beside your name in that chat, we could not do this without you. You help pay the bills around here, and I'm grateful for you. You want to be a part of that, hit the join button down below. It's as little as $1 a month. If you got $1, you like the videos, the content, the live streams, the community, whatever it is you like about this channel, you can support it by hitting that join button, giving $1 a month. We would appreciate it. Also, the more you give, you get access to custom Talkin Vols emojis, the fan call-in shows, all kinds of different fun perks and benefits. But if not, that's cool. Smash the thumbs up because that's quick, free, and easy. Jump into the comment section. Let's talk about Tennessee football because this is the Talkin Vols Network. My name is Boogie Bentley. Go Big Orange.